Hey guys, Aleksey from Ace5 Studios, and on this lovely morning I'm going to be showing you how to do a cloth simulation in Cinema 4D. This has happened to be the most popular thing I've ever made, this little animation here which shows how to make a cloth and then simulate it, and yeah, this thing blew up on Twitter and Instagram and Reddit. Huge appreciation, never had anything like this many times, really grateful for all you people. So I'm gonna make a tutorial on how to make this cloth. Honestly, I haven't been super thrilled with Cinema's cloth system from what I've seen, but then I tried this and I played with it and I watched some people doing stuff in Marvelous and thought, well, let's go and see what we can get in Cinema. And it actually turned out pretty decent, at least for making the clothes. Simulating an animation, different story. So let's grab our model here that we have. This is my new 5J model that I'm working on. And let's start by making a t-shirt. Now, I find that the best way to make a t-shirt is you get a plane and rotate this guy over, put him up, scale him down, roll him down a bit so he's about the right size, like so. And now you want to, let's go to Shift V and turn on filter and no display and select wireframe so we can see what we're doing here. And change this to maybe like 6 by 6. I think that's about the right length. And then make it editable and go into polygon mode, which is here. And use the selection tool to select these guys. And we don't need the soft selection, and we delete them. And then we select, we select these guys, and we delete them too. And we have our little singlet shape. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is how we're building it. And next, I prefer to use this way. We don't have to, but this seems to work pretty well for me. You go into Sculpt, and you go Brushes, and you go Grab, and you go Symmetry, and you turn it on. There you go. And now you can shape it a bit if you want, and it'll be symmetrical. So that's pretty handy. Let's pull these down a bit, drag this out. It doesn't have to be particularly accurate, just approximate shape at this point. I think that's gonna work for what we need. Pull this down a bit. You're gonna really want to look at sewing patterns, which is something that I have to also look into more. Now, the thing is, after we've done this, we will have edges which will be seams, as you saw in the video here. See these ones? These are the ones that are going to get connected. And these edges, and the other edges, the ones that the edges, go away. The edges that are not going to be connected, we want to extrude them. So we want to go into our edge mode and select this, and this. And this, and this, and then this. Just all of these, Control Select, and drag them, and you can actually just use the Move tool and Shift double click and select the bottom edge. And these guys now, we want to press D and just extrude. There you go, until you get this kind of thing. Because this will give cloth, I find, more stability, and at the end it'll give us a nice loop on the outside. And we'll probably want to move these guys. Let's get our Sculpt tool again. Make sure you're sculpting in your front view and just move them about like so. Probably want these to be thinner, it's probably way too thick. Let's move these guys up. There you go, around here. And yeah, maybe scale it down a bit. There you go. Okay, so once you have this, probably a good idea to select all and make this into a selection. So go select, set selection, and also go to edge mode, and these are not the edges we need, so just let's get our rectangular selection tool and just select these guys and these guys and these guys and these guys. and make this also into a set selection. So now we have those edges, so we can just double click and select the stuff we need. Now, once you have this guy, you're gonna wanna go and flip him around. So we'll first move him up here, and then control click and drag here, and rotate this guy so the normals align. And then you're gonna wanna go select this two planes and go right click and connect objects plus delete. And then go to edge mode, and we have them selected, and go right click and stitch and sew. Actually, you know what we're going to do first? Fix these little points here. We don't want, let's go into our side view here. Let's move these guys up so they're not sticking out like that, because we want these lines to be pretty straight down. I think that's a, don't worry too much about it being asymmetrical. It's clothes, it's all going to go to hell anyway. So edge mode, right click and stitch and sew. And if you just click on drag, you're going to get this kind of lose this edge. So what you want to do is you want to shift click and drag, and then you have a new edge here, and then shift click and drag. Make sure these edges are selected, otherwise we won't understand what to do. And make sure you drag the corresponding point to the corresponding point, because if you drag this point to the lower one, oh, it still works. Okay, there you go. Cinema's nice and smart that way. So now we select these guys, and we can just right click and maybe it's invert selection. And I just know the shortcut, it's UI. There you go. You might want to right click and reverse these normals, so then they're all together. I just press Control A to select everything and just go back to our selection. So this is going to be our seam selection, and here make sure this thing is not clicked. Just click on an empty thing and then click on a plane and go select and set selection and call this seams. Now while you're working, it's a good idea to make this new null. Let's make a new null and call this old stuff, and regularly throw control drag and throw this stuff in there, because you're going to want to come back to this at some point when things aren't going too well. Just put it at the bottom of your hierarchy. Maybe even call this blocky shirt, because often you're going to want to come back and change something, and this is going to be the way you do it. You're going to grab one of these and drag it out. So next step is we need to add a simulation, a cloth collider to our body. So simulation and cloth collider. And to our plane, we're going to go simulation and cloth. Now, if we press play, we get this. Not quite what we're after. What we're looking for is this very convenient thing. Where's our cloth collider? Why can't I see a tag? Oh, because I undid it. Okay, let's attach it again. Simulation cloth tag. You're going to go to a dresser, and you're going to want to see polys. Press set while you have these polygons selected, and you'll see these little crosses. And now press Dress-o-matic, and it'll kind of come together. But see, it has this huge outline, which isn't really what you want. What you do want is you want to change this width to like 1, and then you want to go back to the beginning here and press Dress-o-matic, and it'll squash it better. But it's still huge outlines, not really stretchy as what we needed. That's why you need to go to export, and here switch all these to 0.2, 0.2, and 0.2. And now when we press Dress-o-matic, see, now it's much tighter. So already good. But we have a slight problem in that it's still very blocky. But that's okay, because we want to block it out at the beginning, because this is how we get the shape right. And now this is the very important part of this whole tutorial, is we have to set initial state, because now when we press play, we have the shirt falling down. And this is something that I did not know, because it's not very well covered. I want to change the shape of this guy now, so I want to, reshape him, or I want to subdivide him. So what you have to do is you have to untick enable here on cloth. Then you can open your brush tool and go to smear and click somewhere and make your brush the right size. by middle click and dragging, I'm plugging the radius in here. And now if you deselect everything, you can reshape it. So I make it wider at the bottom because then it comes down in really nice folds. That's what's, so now you can reshape it. Here I would even do a bit of a smooth. So go smooth and change the strength down to like 4 or something. And then just, there you go, do this kind of thing so it's not intersecting unnecessarily. And now to make this work, you have to go to dresser, set initial, and basic, and then turn on. And now it works. So again, we turn this off. We select all the polygons. Let's go to our polygon mode. Select all the polygons. And we want to do subdivide. Press the little gear icon next to it. And smooth subdivision and press 1. And like see, if we right now, if we press just enable and you press play, oh, it actually kind of figured it out. It didn't completely go borks. But sometimes it does. Like if you turn this off and then you use the brush tool to smear it at 100%, and then you turn this on, you will see that it just snaps back to where it was. That's why you have to smear it and reshape it to the shape that you want. Whoops. Bit of an intersection there. And then you want to go to dresser, init state, set, and basic, turn it on, and then press play. See, this is kind of getting there, but it's right now it's a bit too saggy because what we need to use is in forces here, no, in tag. Firstly, we want to change the iterations up to like 15. So now it doesn't stretch as much. And second, we want to put the size here down to like 80%, or whoops, 80%. And then when you press play, you see it shrinks. Maybe 80 is too much. Maybe like 95. Nope, still too much. Also, you see it slides around a lot. So what you want to do is you want to go to your collider here and put your friction to like 99 and your bounce to like 5. So now when you press play, it slides a bit less. Maybe there's friction on this thing as well. There you go, friction, I guess it's like 99 and 2. Still slides, but it's better. So anyway, as you see, this is where we're getting. And after you're here, you might as well go and subdivide it again. So turn on your cloth and subdivide it again. So right click and subdivide, little gear, make sure it's set to 1 and smooth subdivision and press OK. And now, when you go here, dresser, set initial, and you turn it back on, and in your tags, you can now press play. See, now we're getting that thing that we had. We're getting little cloth folds. Still not enough, so we're going to go back and we're going to subdivide it again. Turn it off, select all the polygons, right click, subdivide, go to dresser, set initial, basic, enable, make sure your thing is set to 95%, and press play. There you go. See, but now it stretches a lot. So now you want to go get your cloth and you want to drag this up to like maybe 35 and press play. There you go. Now we're getting these nice folds going on here. Now if you see this blocking thing that's happening, that's because your foam tag here is set to 40. You can just turn off the angle limit. There you go. And now it's already looking much better. And the reason, see, and now you get these nice, like I think these loops are a direct result of us having those loop geometry there. Without them, you wouldn't be getting these really nice folds here. So, and once it's here in a stage that you like it, like this, you can see that's kind of acting all funky there. So, maybe you want to smooth these guys out a bit. Let's get our MC for brush tools, smooth. Let's change this to like 5%, scroll it down. And then can we smooth this guy out? No, let's give it a bit more. Why isn't it smoothing? 100% smooth? Oh, because we got to turn this off first. There you go. There you go, now I can see it smoothing. Now it looks a bit better. Okay, now let's go dresser, initial state set, basic on, and let's press play again. It's still kind of twirling up there. I don't know what's happening. It's doing it on the other side too now. Maybe we're going to turn on self-collision. Expert self-collision. Press play. Well, that's cool. Rendering way slower. Let's press. It's a bit better. It's still squeezing a lot there, though. I think I just gotta turn this off. And I gotta get my brush, make it bigger, and I just gotta smear this guy out so it's not so many polygons so close to each other. I think it's just gotta stretch them out and see what we get. Okay, and again, dresser, set initial, basic, tick enable, and press play. Well, look at that cloth going on. Nice. Look at that. Look at those nice folds. Ah, sweet. And no intersection. So there you go. That's pretty much how you do it. Now, once you're happy with it, there's two things you got to keep in mind. If you set initial here, let's also, don't forget to copy and paste this dude into here, and don't forget to turn off this tag on this one. Now here, if you set initial right now, for example, if I go here and I go, where is it, dresser, and I go set initial, and I go back to frame 1, you'll see it won't snap back, it'll stay here. But if I press play now, it'll start falling again. So you got to be careful with that if you're planning to simulate with a cloth. But basically now you can just delete this tag, and there you go, you have your cloth. You can use a surface deformer to stick it to your character or anything, and you can just go grab the Sculpt Tools and go nuts. So Sculpt Tools, brushes. For example, here I can use a smooth tool, and I can smooth out whatever this thing was here. And I can also use the pull tool. I can press W to hide the wireframe, and I can control drag to push in some of these curves or drag them out, or maybe add some more, exaggerate some of these, maybe smooth it out a bit. And yeah, so you can use that to really sculpt the cloth afterwards. Also, those loops that I told you about before, very handy, is press W to turn the wireframe back, go to edges, oops. And here use the loop selection tool, so V, select, and loop selection. And just select some of these guys. And holding the shift key, we can select this loop and this loop here. Oops. There you go. And the bottom one along the edge. And you can either just extrude these guys, or you can go UF, and you can click here and then go UI, and there you go, you have all of those selected. And then you just press the D key for extrude and extrude it just a bit. Oops, too much. I just put this in manually, 0.05 or something. And apply a different material to it. Just drag the material on it. So yeah, now you have this nice kind of edge going along, trim. And this is basically it. This is how you can make pretty nice looking cloth relatively quickly. This was 18 minutes with description. You got to mess around a bit. You'll see that this time I did it pretty much first try, but before I kept on making different shaped t-shirts. I noticed that if you make them taper out wider at the bottom, then they come down these really nice folds at the bottom. And play with that value for squashing the cloth together. What is it called? Where is it? The size. This is very important. I found this really helped to simulate cloth on the body. So yeah, it's my approach. Hope you liked it. Honestly, thanks again for all the sharing and all the retweeting and the liking of my stuff. It was just great. I'm really, flattered by it. If you like this tutorial, come check out my website. I have plenty of other tutorials about all kind of stuff, rigging, materials, characters. I also have free rigged characters that you can download and do whatever you want with this. Beefy, bony. I got a little rigged robot, Marvin. And if you want to support me, I have a whole bunch of stuff for sale. Most of the stuff starts at $25. Like maybe the big version can be like $80 or $50, but these packs are $25 each. This thing's $25. The basic 5-man is $25. There's a little 5A sign man that you can animate as well. So yeah, and if you can't afford it, that's fine too. Just, like my stuff, retweet it, share it with friends. I appreciate all that. It honestly, like, I got so many likes and retweets from this video that I did. I don't think anything has ever been this popular, so huge thanks to you guys. And I'll keep on making more tutorials for you.